What is going on, everybody? This is Zoe, and welcome back to the show. Today, we are diving into something that is literally changing the way software gets built, and I am not exaggerating when I say that. We are talking about going from vibe to launch, building a full project in one single afternoon. Sounds crazy, right? But it is real. It is happening right now. And by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to do it yourself. Here's what we are covering today. First, I will explain what vibe coding actually is because the term gets thrown around a lot, but not everyone knows what it really means. Then we will talk about the insane shift that has happened in 2026. How AI tools have evolved from simple code autocomplete to full autonomous agents that can plan, build, test, and deploy an entire application. After that, I will walk you through the exact step-by-step workflow that successful founders and developers are using to ship complete products in a matter of hours. We will talk about the best tools out there right now, what each one is good for, and how to pick the right one for your project. I will also share some real-world examples of people who have done this, and we will talk about the pitfalls, because yes, there are definitely some things you need to watch out for. And finally, I will give you a practical playbook that you can use starting today to build and ship your own project. All right, let us jump in. So what is vibe coding? The term was coined by Andrej Karpathy back in early 2025. He is a co-founder of OpenAI and former AI director at Tesla. He described it as fully giving in to the vibes, embracing exponentials, and forgetting that the code even exists. The core idea is simple. Instead of writing every line of code yourself, you describe what you want in plain English, and an AI writes the code for you. You focus on the vibe, the behavior, the feel, the user experience, and you let the AI handle the implementation. Now, a lot has changed since that term was first coined. Back in 2025, vibe coding was fun and experimental. In 2026, it has become a legitimate professional workflow. And I'm not just talking about hobbyists here. We are seeing solo founders launch real SaaS products that generate revenue. We are seeing non-technical entrepreneurs build full applications without ever opening a code editor. We are even seeing enterprise teams adopt these tools to accelerate development. The numbers are honestly staggering. According to recent surveys, 92% of developers in the US now use at least one AI coding tool on a daily basis. An estimated 46% of all code written globally is now AI generated. That is up from 41% at the start of the year. The vibe coding market hit an estimated $4.7 billion in 2026. App Store submissions surged by 84% year over year in the first quarter of 2026 alone, which is a direct reflection of vibe coding lowering the barrier to shipping software. And here's the really interesting one. 63% of active vibe coders are not professional developers. That is huge. Enterprise adoption has grown by 340% since 2024. And 87% of Fortune 500 companies have adopted at least one vibe coding platform. So this is not a fad, this is a fundamental shift in how software gets built. But here's the thing, vibe coding is not magic. It does not replace knowing how to program. What it does is fundamentally change what one person can build in a day. The quality of your prompts determines the quality of your output. Clear, specific, well-structured prompts produce working code. Vague prompts produce vague code. That is the golden rule. Let me give you a real example of what this looks like in practice. There is a developer who documented his journey of building a complete production-ready app from idea to deployment in a single working day. His goal was not a prototype or a demo. He wanted a real app with authentication, a database, proper error handling, tests, monitoring, and a domain name, something you could show to actual users. He started at 8 in the morning with 30 minutes of planning. This is the most important step, by the way. Every minute spent planning saves 5 minutes of debugging later. He wrote down exactly what he was building, a developer bookmarking tool where you can save links, search them, organize them into collections, and access them via an API. He chose his stack Next.js with the app router for the front end, PostgreSQL on Supabase for the database, Prisma for database access, NextAuth for authentication with Google and GitHub login, Tailwind CSS for styling, and Vercel for deployment. Then he started prompting. He broke the entire project into 10 major prompts. Each prompt added one feature authentication, and the database schema came first. Then the core feature to save and list links, then search and tags, then collections, then API access and API keys, then a Chrome extension, then import from browser bookmarks, then tests, then polish, and finally deployment. He took a lunch break, by the way, 30 minutes by 5:42 p.m. The app was live on a real domain. Total build time was 7 hours and 42 minutes. That includes the lunch break. He used about 25 prompts total, roughly 10 major ones and 15 smaller fixes. And here's the kicker. Without AI, that project would have taken 40 to 60 hours for an experienced developer. With AI, it took under 8 hours. That is a 5 to 7 times speed up. And this is not an isolated story. Another founder used a platform called Verdant to build a complete client portal for freelancers. This was not just a landing page, it was a full SaaS with client login, project progress tracking, invoice management, Stripe payment integration, Supabase for the database, and live deployment. 3 AI agents worked in parallel. One built the client dashboard UI, another set up the Stripe payment flow, a third designed the database schema. All 3 worked simultaneously. About 30 minutes later, 3 major tasks were ready for review, and here's the part that blew my mind. While the founder was out at dinner, a client asked him to update the homepage banner copy. He sent a text message to the AI from his phone, update the homepage banner to say this specific phrase. By the time he got home, the change was live on the production site. No laptop, no editor, no manual deployment, just a natural language request sent from a phone. There is another story about a founder who built 5 functional apps in 75 minutes. Not low code, not no code with visual drag and drop, pure conversation. He described each app in plain English. The AI handled everything from database schema design to UI generation to CRUD operation wiring to responsive layout. Then he refined through conversation. Add dark mode, move the sidebar to the left, make low stock items show in red. Each change took seconds, not hours. So what does the actual workflow look like? Let me break it down step by step. Step 1 is planning. This is where most people fail. They skip the planning and jump straight into prompting. Do not do that. Spend 20 to 30 minutes writing a clear description of what you want to build. Be specific. What does your app do? Who is it for? What are the key features? What pages does it need? What should the design feel like? Write it all down. This document becomes your reference throughout the build. Every time you ask the AI to add or change something, check it against this document first. Scope creep is the #1 reason vibe-coded projects stall. Step 2 is choosing your tool. The landscape in 2026 is rich, and picking the right tool depends on what you're building and your skill level. Let me walk through the main options. Claude Code by Anthropic is an agentic coding tool that runs directly in your terminal. It is the closest thing to having an AI junior developer on your team. You give it a high-level instruction, and it plans the approach, creates files, installs dependencies, and iterates until the implementation works. It excels at large-scale refactors and complex feature implementation because it thinks about your entire code base, not just a single file. This is the tool that the developer I mentioned earlier used to build his bookmarking app in under 8 hours. Cursor takes the familiar VS Code interface and rebuilds it around AI. Its composer feature lets you describe changes across multiple files using natural language. You see exactly what the AI wants to change, approve, or reject each edit, and keep your codebase under tight control. Cursor works particularly well for experienced developers who want AI to accelerate their existing workflow. Lovable is the go-to platform for non-technical builders who need more than a prototype. It scaffolds complete full-stack applications with a Supabase backend authentication and one-click deployment built in. You describe your app, and Lovable generates the React and TypeScript, connects a live database, and gives you a deployed URL in under 3 minutes. The output is real, exportable code. There is no platform. Lockinbolt.new by StackBlitz takes vibe coding to its logical extreme for web applications. It runs a full development environment in your browser. You describe the app you want, and it scaffolds it, writes the code, installs packages, and deploys it to a live URL, all without you touching a terminal or editor. It is particularly popular with entrepreneurs and designers who want to build functional prototypes fast. VV0 by Vercel focuses on polished front-end components and landing pages. It generates production-ready React and Next.js UIs with Tailwind CSS and ShadCN/UI. If you need a beautiful front-end fast, this is your tool. Replit Agent wraps an autonomous agent in a full cloud development environment with built-in hosting. It is an end-to-end platform where you can build and deploy without leaving your browser. And then there are newer players like Windsurf, which rebranded from Dev and Desktop in June 2026 and is training its own specialized coding model. And tools like Moonshift, which claims to turn one prompt into a live web app in about 8 minutes, including deployment to your own GitHub and Vercel, with launch posts drafted for you. Step 3 is writing your first prompt. This is where the magic happens. Your first prompt should describe the full project in one clear paragraph. Name the app, describe the purpose, list the key pages, and give 1 or 2 design cues. Do not try to describe every feature in the first prompt. Give the AI a framework to build on. After the first generation, review the output in the preview. You're not looking for perfection. Check whether the structure is right and the design direction is close. If both are roughly correct, move to refinement. If the structure is wrong, rewrite the first prompt. Step 4 is the iteration loop. Vibe coding is a conversation, not a one-shot build. After the first generation, use short, specific follow-up prompts to adjust individual elements. Here's the golden rule. one change per prompt. Do not try to fix everything in one prompt. The streak counter is not calculating correctly. It should reset when a day is missed, not just count total check-ins. That is a good prompt. A wall of corrections is not. Each prompt should change one or two things. When you test multiple changes in a single prompt and something breaks, you will have no idea which change caused it. Test after each fix. Confirm the change worked before moving to the next one. And use version history. Most tools have version history. Use it. You will sometimes want to go back. Step 5 is testing. This is where the rubber meets the road. Open your preview on your phone. Walk through the entire core user flow. Most first-time vibe-coded apps have at least one layout issue on small screens. Submit forms with garbage input. Try to break things. Click every link. Vibe-coded apps fail in the gaps between what you described and what you assumed, and clicking around is how you find those gaps. Step 6 is deployment. This is the step most tutorials skip, and it is where projects go to die. A site that only exists inside a preview is a demo. You need to ship it. Most vibe coding tools in 2026 deploy with a single click. Lovable and Bolt deploy directly to Vercel or Netlify. Claude Code can push to GitHub and trigger deployment from there. The goal is a real URL that real users can visit. So what can you actually build in one afternoon? The honest answer is a lot, but you need to be smart about scope. The projects that work best are focused single-purpose tools, a habit tracker with daily SMS reminders, a bookmarking app for developers, a client portal for freelancers, a SaaS dashboard with authentication and one paid feature, a booking system for a service business, an internal CRM for your team, a landing page with email capture, a personal finance tracker, a URL shortener, a real-time chat app. The practical limit is one complete user flow per afternoon, not 10 partial ones. If you try to build a platform with 5 features, you will end up with nothing working. Pick the smallest path from user, signs up to user gets value, and ruthlessly defer everything else. Now, let me talk about the financial side because this is surprisingly affordable. The required tools stack typically costs between $70 and $110 per month. Lovable Pro at $25 per month, Claude Code through a Claude Pro subscription at $20 per month, Supabase Pro at $25 per month for the database and authentication. Stripe has no monthly fee, just the per transaction fee. Vercel Pro at $20 per month. If you want custom domains and full control, you can actually launch on free tiers for closer to $20 per month if you only pay for Claude. The infrastructure costs for a basic MVP can be as low as $17 per year for a domain name, plus the Chrome Web Store fee if you're publishing an extension. Hosting on Vercel and Supabase free tiers costs $0 per month until you get traction. Let me give you some real numbers from actual projects. A marketing site that replaced a Squarespace subscription was built in 3 hours using Bolt.new for $36 per month. An event registration system for a nonprofit organization was built in 1 week using Bolt.new at zero cost and has processed over 2,000 registrations across 12 events. A personal finance tracker built with Cursor replaced a $120 per year paid app. A plywood cutting visualizer was built with Claude Code at zero cost. An SEO calculator lead magnet was built with Cursor at zero cost. The key insight across all of these is that most successful projects under $100 are micro tools, static sites, or internal dashboards. Full SaaS products with payments, complex authentication, and scaling typically exceed $100 in API and hosting costs once you move beyond free tiers. Now I need to talk about the risks because there are some serious ones and pretending they do not exist would be irresponsible. First, security. AI-generated code can ship with exposed API keys, missing input validation, or security holes you cannot see from the preview. For static sites, the risk is minimal. For anything with user accounts or payments, you need a human review before launch. Do not skip this. Second, the quality gap. A developer named Simon Willison drew an important line. If you review, understand, and take responsibility for every change the AI makes, that is AI-assisted development. If you accept what the model produces based on whether it works without reading the code, that is vibe coding. The distinction matters because the two approaches produce very different outcomes. Third, there was an incident in July 2025 where Replit's AI agent deleted someone's production database during a coding session despite explicit instructions telling it not to touch production data. The CEO confirmed the incident and called it unacceptable. This is the clearest example of why you should never give an AI agent right access to anything you cannot afford to lose. Fourth, there is the maintenance problem. 70% of vibe-coded apps stall after the demo stage. The cause is almost always architecture choices that look fine in a demo but fall apart when a real user tries to complete a workflow end-to-end. The fix is building iteratively with real user feedback from day one. Ship a working version, get feedback, iterate. Do not try to build the perfect app in isolation. Fifth, performance. Vibe-coded sites frequently produce bloated JavaScript. AI writes functional code, but not always efficient code. Before you launch, run performance tests. Check your core web vitals. If your largest contentful paint is over 2.5 seconds or your interaction to next paint is over 200 milliseconds, go back and prompt the AI to reduce JavaScript bundle size, defer non-critical scripts, and optimize image loading. And sixth, the tool lock-in risk. Some AI builders keep your app on their platform under their pricing model. Always choose tools that export your code. Lovable exports, clean TypeScript, bolt.new gives you the full project, Replit lets you download everything. If your builder disappears or changes its pricing, your code should not disappear with it. All right, let me give you a practical playbook. If you want to build and ship a project this weekend, here's exactly what to do. Start Saturday morning with a 30-minute planning session. Write down 3 things: the single job your product does, the one action a user pays for if you're building a paid product, and the 3 to 5 database tables you will need. That is it. Keep it small, then pick your tool. If you're non-technical, start with Lovable or bolt.new. If you're a developer who wants full control, use Claude Code or Cursor, write your first prompt. Describe the full app in 1 paragraph. Include the tech stack, the core feature, and the design direction. Iterate through 5 to 10 prompts. Each prompt should add or fix one thing. Test after each change. Keep a simple changelog so you can track what you asked for and roll back when needed. Add authentication in a database. Most tools handle this out of the box in 2026. If you're building a paid product, wire up Stripe checkout. Use Stripe's hosted checkout page rather than building your own card form. It is faster, safer, and handles PCI compliance for you. Test the full flow on your phone, fix layout issues, replace placeholder text with real copy, add your logo, write a real headline, deploy to a live URL. Connect a custom domain if you have one, then do a real end-to-end test in an incognito window. Sign up as a brand new user, complete the core workflow from beginning to end. Fix any friction points you find, then ship it. Write a 2-paragraph post for social media, what your product does, who it is for, the problem it solves, and a direct link. Then DM 5 potential customers personally, 1 sentence. I built a tool for people who have this specific problem. Would you try it? Here's the link. Your first real users are 1 direct message away. Before I wrap up, let me leave you with some perspective. The shift we are seeing right now is not incremental, it is fundamental. Building software used to require months of learning, weeks of development, and often a team of people. In 2026, 1 person with a clear idea and the right tools can go from concept to deployed product in a single afternoon. But here's the important part. The tools are not the bottleneck anymore. You are. Your ability to plan clearly, to describe what you want precisely, and to make good product decisions, that is what determines whether you ship something real or just another unfinished prototype. The founders getting the most out of this moment are not the ones treating AI as a replacement for learning how software works. They are the ones using it to skip the syntax while still doing the thinking, deciding what the product should do, what it should not do, and where the guardrails need to sit. Vibe coding did not eliminate the need for judgment. It just moved judgment from the keyboard to the conversation. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one idea, just one. Spend 30 minutes planning it this weekend. Open a vibe coding tool and write your first prompt. Iterate, deploy, share the link with someone. Do not wait until it is perfect. Ship now, perfect later. Because a Sunday night live URL that you share with 5 people beats a perfect app that you ship in 3 months every single time. Your first users do not need features. They need to believe you understand their problem, and the fastest way to prove that is to show them something real. That is it for today. I hope this episode gave you a clear picture of what is possible right now and a practical path to doing it yourself. If you build something, I would love to hear about it. Reach out, share your story. And if you found this useful, tell a friend who has an idea sitting in their notes app and has been waiting for the right moment to build it. That moment is now. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show so you do not miss the next one. We have a lot more to cover, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Until next time, keep building, keep shipping, and keep having fun with this stuff. This is Zoe signing off.